Okay, awesome. So we are going now. Wow. Okay, a lot of people. So we're at, oh wow, almost 30. Cool. So I'm sure we'll probably get a few more in here too as well. Just a good friendly reminder is that if you're not talking, we just ask that you mute your mic, please, just until we do open the floor up for questions, just so we don't hear any background or static noise. Always appreciate it. So let me start off with first off, welcome. I know there's a lot of people here that have been joining the Discord from S36. I want to say, honestly, it feels like we're at 125, 150 people just in the past 2 days that have joined. It is really awesome to see. And I can tell you this from comparing my experience in S8. Even though we only had a little bit of time, about a week and a half to prep, there was not a lot of people that joined the Discord, even though we promoted it pretty more or less about the same. A little bit more here in S36, but it was really close. And just to see the amount of people that have been joining the server to get involved, to engage, to socialize, I think we have almost 200 people now converted with access to our kingdom section. And there's probably anywhere from, I would estimate, 300 to 350 minimum that have joined the server but just haven't requested access yet for players that are actually playing in S36. So that is awesome to see. And obviously, always been a big shout out to my buddy Spaghetti for helping me out with doing the server revamp. He's been really instrumental in that and making everything look nice and purdy. If I use a little bit of my southern charm there, even though I'm actually from the West Coast. Only people in the U.S. would probably get that, unless you visited the States. Let me not talk about pointless things. So, let's talk about...
It is morning time for them.
Yes, it is. Let me go ahead and talk about our overview right now for just kind of how S36 is going. First off, let me just start with how old is the server. I know I'm sure some people can always wonder, oh wow, look, they're even prepping S37. Well, sorry, it already released. So we're almost 4 days old right now. You can see faction power is still pretty good, right, and still pretty split as far as us just starting out. From the map, you can see things are still looking decent, right? Obviously, with green in this sense, right, you're going to have, I think it's ET, MYST, and then Phoenix right now. So, all right, which is kind of the top three, top four green. Now, most likely, I would imagine if you're joining S36, it could, based on how this looks, it might be prompting more people to go to green. Usually, in most situations, and this is just how servers trend, for anyone who cares about stats, is that usually it goes kind of like red, and then in my experience, I've really kind of seen it go like most people join red and then green and then blue last. In this case, I think just because we ended up, at least for the Syndicate family portion, when we joined, we had 3 blue alliances starting out. So I think that played a little bit of a factor into it, and then we only had 2 starting out in green based on how that went. So I think that's why you see it trending a little bit in kind of the red, blue, green, where you just see a little bit more activity, or at least I should say more average player activity. But again, hopefully that'll still be evening out as we continue to have more players joining. And then outside of that, I do want to say that based on how the leaderboards were looking, and they're starting to kind of get back there, but when I woke up this morning, I want to say it about an hour and a half ago, I saw this really awesome thing, right? And it was like the top 3 we had here for IS, Mystical, and Deuce. We're all within about 100K of each other. I don't know if anyone else noticed that about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, and maybe it was like that before as well. That is kind of the ideal position that we would like to see, right? That was one of the things we've talked about a lot when it comes to balancing the power, right? The big reason why we stress that so much is because when you have balanced power, players feel like they can contribute to events in game more than just doing the bare minimum. Because some players and some people might think to them, depending on how you feel about it, it is something that happens where players will look at the leaderboards and let's say if the number 1 alliance was really far ahead in some kind of like a server-wide event, right? Like something like oh god, what's the first thing? Like an alliance. It's not alliance development. There's a few other ones. I can't even remember them off the tip of my tongue. But there's a few alliance events that'll come up. And the challenge is, and this happens in other kingdom builders, where you'll have 1 or 2 alliances. These are kind of like in those mega alliance style kingdoms or servers where you might have 1 or 2 alliances that are just way above everyone else. in power. And because of that, alliances that are below the number one and or number one and two will notice that there's just no chance of them catching up in those events. And players will notice that. And that is what causes player demotivation. It's what causes general inactivity. And for players to not contribute, where they'll just go in and maybe do the bare minimum, right? Like the example, if for those of you guys who played Rise of Kingdoms, the example I usually give there is, I would go into like a kill event and I would just do my 3 or 4 little minimum accolades that I would get rewards for just because I hit a certain tier of tasks completed in that event. But then I won't contribute any more than that. And that's something that a lot of players will do if they see an imbalance like that. And so that's why I think, if you look at the boards now, I think it looks great. I think, as you kind of see IS getting closer to like the 2 and 3 right now, and then it's really just a matter of, and this is probably where we're going to make a little bit of an amendment, because I think what is happening so far is fantastic, right? We are seeing the power gap closening, or I should say lowering, and is getting closer to each other, and that's what we hoped for, right, when we started. And we did talk about in the first few days, you're going to see server volatility. Anyone here who has played a Kingdom Builder or any kind of, or any genre of game like that, if you're someone who's paid attention to leaderboards from day one up to the first week or two, you know that most Kingdom Builders will just trend in the sense of players wanting just to keep moving up the ladder, right? They just want to keep trying to join the highest ranked alliance they can, and because of that, that is what causes the standard level of hierarchy shift, or kind of pyramiding, if you will, that funnels, keeps going up and up and up, and funnels essentially to the top alliance, right? Whomever that is. And that is just a general trend that happens in Kingdom Builders. And so that's why when I see something like this, I think it looks great. And now, essentially, once kind of IS and Mystical and Deuce kind of get close to that range, then at that point, it's really just a matter of staying as close as they can in power, and then accepting just the lowest powered players, right? And then what will happen from there is that alliances like Forsaken, Phoenix will start getting some of that higher powered player overflow, and then they'll boost up, right, and get closer to that 8.1, 8.2 power, right? So then you'll have 5 alliances that are all close in power. This is the ideal end game goal that we are looking to reach. You want to have healthy competition. It is not, trust me when I say this, it is not fun coming from Server 8 where the alliance I had at one time there, right, we had like 5 mil power over number 2. It really got out of hand. But over time, as the power cap increased, I started only accepting the lowest powered players. I would accept new players that had a Lord name, right? As long as they were active and they were contributing, right? And we would do audits every 3 or 4 days, right, for player activity. But over time, I would say after about a week or so, once we noticed that the gap was like really bad, that was when, and of course, obviously, the opportunity to learn from those trials and error, we can do it better now, right? Like we're doing in S36. But during my time there in S8, that's what we did, right? So even though we were the number 1 alliance, the number 2 alliance and number 3 alliance eventually caught up, and then we became like the number 3 or number 4 alliance, right? And then it's really just a matter of looking at it like that, right? It's like that age-old saying, right, there's no I in team. The one thing I'm sure a lot of you have heard me preach a lot is we don't care who the number 1 alliance is. That's completely pointless to us. What we really care about is server health and server engagement. And that's what you really want. You want any of your top alliances to be able to win an event at any time over another, right? And then it just comes down to general activity. But if everyone is close to, or as close as you can, because we're never all going to be equal in power, and there's always going to be some gaps here and there. But as long as we consistently work on it, players will feel like they can engage more. They'll feel more comfortable contributing, because they will know that their alliance can win an event at any time. And that is what's going to keep activity, having that healthy competition amongst ourselves instead of just 1 or 2 alliances winning events all the time. Sure, it might be fun in the short term, but once you start noticing you're losing server activity and you're losing player activity, and then you start noticing based on the actual activity points that alliances are getting, that the number 1 or 2 alliance one or two alliances are just having the highest points, and the number three has half or a third or even a quarter of the points you do, that's when you really start noticing that it's like, oh wow, my server's kind of dying, and it's really just going to be me, myself, and I holding our hands singing Kumbaya alone. So
But
again,
boss nuts, I want to add something about this. And in the end, many people gonna give a break or gonna quit the server, and we will not keep that much alliances in the top. So the merge will start, as you know. And after that merge, we can talk about that balance again. We can organize it. It is an easy thing to do if people attend on Discord and count it. For example,
okay,
I want to speak about royalty. After I announce here that I'm going to accept all your rules, we gave up Charon to the Brazil alliance, for example, as you see, and we're going to take only one level 3 castle. But what I see here, we have a problem. Bosnasti, the GR clan on Blues, they are not coming to the Discord and they are acting by themselves. If you check on the map, to the left top corner, Cocabiel, Hesperus, and Sirius. They
that's
had got Hesperus, but Forsaken Syndicate take back. I think Blues shouldn't be stay at here, if you see. But they are not attending on the Discord or they are not coming these talks, and so I don't know what we're gonna do with them.
yeah. And we'll get to that in a sec once we kind of open the
Okay.
Q&A. We just have a structure we're kind of going top down, but we'll definitely address that, and I do appreciate you bringing that up as well because I do have an update there as well to talk about. Uh, from there, though, again, with my kind of general balancing or power balancing rant and the reasons why I think it's very vital and why I think it's very important, right, for why everyone here. I mean, even if you just look at the people that are here, in the voice call, right? I mean, still, right, we're at about 30 people on, somewhat of a Tuesday morning, at least for me, different times depending on where you're at. Right, the engagement is consistent, right, and it will over time be growing and increasing for the amount of people that we have attending, and I think that is an amazing feat in and of itself. Is the people that are willing to, be more involved, right, or be involved to a level, even if it's outside of the game. And I think that speaks volumes to our server's health. I think if you look at what we've done with our blacklist that we put out yesterday, along with adding more people to our rapid response team, players like Bowser and others that have, been going out there and, pretty much kind of policing any of the bullies, if you will, any of the people that we have on the blacklist or others, they've been doing a great job so far. To the point of where, now I'm getting messages from other players saying, hey, look, we don't want any trouble. If we need to remove one of these players or this player that's on the blacklist, let us know. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But these are things that happen because of the unity, because everyone that's here in the group, right, wants hopefully the same things that we all want, right? We want a safe server. We don't want any bullying. We don't want any rogue players doing whatever they want, right? We don't want to do server-wide PvP, right? We want to allow players to progress and develop their accounts freely without having to worry about always looking over their shoulder or always popping a shield, wondering if they're going to get attacked every single day. And I think so far we have been doing a really good job of it. Of course, at the beginning, it's always going to be a little more volatile. It's always going to be up and down, right, until things stabilize and consistency start and trends start, where people start realizing, like, look, you're not just going to be able to fight here all the time. And, again, for the people that we have on the blacklist, those are players that are already starting to, I'm sure, feel those pressures, especially when you're going to get ousted, right? I think things that were, for example, people that are on that list, one of the notes we'll probably add on to that as well, is that, we'll let people know that these players are not welcome in any alliances, right? So if you harbor this player, then, your alliance may be subject to get attacked as well. But again, those are things that we'll have to take time to message the leaders. That's why we've been trying to bring as many people into the server as possible, because I think information is very important, right? When players in game have a lack of information or a lack of knowledge because they just don't know what they don't know, right? We don't really want to punish people for that. but taking the time out of our day to message leaders for all the alliances in the servers to try and bring as many of them into the Discord, right, to promote that in our server and in our alliance announcement declaration boards has been fantastic. I think that has been an amazing feat for us getting as much activity and as much traffic into the server for that reason. And then, like I said, from here, it's just a matter of us taking time to message players, message leads, let them know what the policy is, how we want to work with everyone. And then something that Tu brought up, right, is kind of something we'll start transitioning into as far as, working on things like merging. That's something that is very natural in Kingdom Builders for anyone that has played them throughout any period of time. You'll start seeing that as, and the thing about any server, right, is activity is going to fall. Activity is not necessarily going to fall off, but you will lose some players. And in those situations, that's just because you can't please everyone. So every server is going to experience some amount of player drop-off over time. But by us doing good things, such as taking care of any rogue players early on, right, getting as many leaders involved as we can, because the leaders and officers are going to be the ones that are mainly speaking for their alliances. They're going to send alliance mails out. So that's why bringing as many of them into the Discord and into the S36 Kingdom section on our server is going to be really important. Because they will be vocal leaders for their groups, which means that if they're sending out mails advising them, there's a good chance that those players will keep staying and playing longer than if they didn't, and we didn't take time to bring them in, at least in one area that we can factor into. Outside of that, like I said, I think everything is still going really well. Everyone's kind of getting cities at the moment, kind of sticking it to the top 20 and then the top 12 as we look at the level 2 and level 3 cities. And then we'll probably start talking about level 4 and 5 cities in a little bit. I think some alliances have a level 3, and then the majority are probably going to be setting up for their level 3s, I would imagine probably in the next day or two. And then, we'll start talking about level 4s and capitals. Again, there's still some things that have to even out. I would say we're probably still about a week, maybe a week and a half away from having the majority of us do level 4s, and then, or I should say, from the majority doing level 4s, and then in addition, for some of them capping 5s.
Level 4s will open, I guess.
And I think that's the other thing too as well, is that we're going to have to, let me see real quick when those...
And for today, our chronicle is starting in, it starts in 40 minutes. And it will take like 6 or 8 hours. Afterwards, level 3 cities will be open. So tonight, we will take the level 3s.
Well, we'll have to wait for Chronicle 6. So.
Yeah, Chronicle 6. So, we have like 6 days, something like that.
Let's see here. Well, it's the 28th. So, this is going to open up... ETC... Yeah. So, Chronicle 5 opens in 40 minutes. Chronicle 6 will open in a day and 40 minutes. Which means that if we finish this, what is this? So we'll probably finish this right away.
4 or 5 hours, it will be finished.
This one will finish. Level 6, Chronicle 6 will finish right away because I think we already have all the level 2 cities captured. Chronicle 5, is going to take some time because that's level 9 or higher gnomes. But when Chronicle 6 opens, we'll probably finish it right away, which means in a day and 40 minutes or so is probably when the level 3 cities are going to open. So we still have a little longer than 24 hours of prep before we can do the level 3 cities, and then of course longer for the 4s and 5s once those open. Again, a lot of changes. I'm sure for some players that are playing now, right, this might seem normal, but Chronicles did not used to be like this. Before, they did not have limitations on when cities would open. You could cap any city you wanted to from the moment you joined the server. So they've definitely done a lot. Even the timelines are new. All of these changes to Chronicles were added in the last V1.2 update. But prior to that, you could progress Chronicles as fast as you wanted because there wasn't time limits that they had on them. So as the moment you completed one, the next one opened. It was definitely some different changes, but I think a lot of it is for pacing. I think they're realizing now that, especially the developers are probably realizing that they have a good hit of a game on their hands, and they just don't want people finishing Chronicles or hitting level 40 accounts as fast as they were before, prior to the update. But anyways, that kind of covers our general overview. Let me talk about... I think I also talked about some Syndicate family overview as well. So what I'd like to do now is kind of open the floor up for some of the leaders I know we do have a couple leads here, and if you're a rep of a lead, if your leader's not here, I still would love to hear just kind of how you think things are going. I know I've kind of said my piece on things, and what I'll do is I'll just kind of go down the list here for people that are in the voice call. Let me see what we have. Yeah, so we're still at about almost 30. So I'll just kind of go down the list for people in the voice call right now. If you're a lead, and again, I would love just to kind of get any general feedback that you have as far as based on what I've explained, especially if maybe this is the first time you're hearing it. I know that we are also going to be looking to push out an announcement message for all the S36 leaders that are on the Discord, so we can kind of let everyone know what the ideal game plan is when it comes to cities, when it comes to kind of the S36 overview for policies and things like that as well. But I guess with that being
Okay,
said, let me see here.
I will start about it. I want to add something.
Yeah, sure,
I,
yeah. Just in a sec, shoot. I'm gonna go down the voice call list, so I'll get to you in a sec. But let me start with
no,
Fa.
no, I will tell for everyone in here a small addition about server health. Are you listening?
Okay, sure.
No, I appreciate what we are doing, and if we keep continue this diplomacy, in the end, we will make a name on this server, which means 90 days after, if we keep this balance and if we keep this connection between us, many people gonna migrate in this server as well. It is very important to make a healthy server. We should talk about 90 days after today. So just keep the good work and obey the rules, and this server will be very nice, and everyone gonna hear about it. And then people start to join this server even after 90 days. They will migrate their castles in here. That's what I want to say.
Oh yes, no. Again, I think even with that, I think that's a good point. Hopefully, it will definitely continue for what we're able to keep up. I think doing things like these town halls that we do on a weekly basis are a big testament to that and do help out a lot as far as when it comes just to general engagement within the server. But let me start now without kind of wasting any more time. Fassi, let me start with you first. If you have anything you'd like to add.
Nothing.
Okay, no problem. We can always come back. Let me work my way down here. Nacho? I don't know if... Sorry, I don't know if I see Crimson in here.
But Nasty, take me to the channel, but I will be AFK like 3 minutes. I'm coming back, okay?
Sure. No worries, no worries. Yeah, Nacho, or if there's an officer from Desi, or from Deuce that would like to add anything, please feel free. Okay, don't all jump out of your seats at once. We can come back. No worries. Sorry, my bad. Let me look at the town hall chat in case anyone's typing in there because I didn't even look. Sorry, let me look for. I was like, let me look for a mic. I'll write to Crim. Okay, no worries. All right, let me go to DF band.
Hey, Nasty, you can hear me?
Oh,
No?
Fassi, hey, yeah, what's up? Go ahead.
And so the server like open for 3 or 4 days, and we have like not a problem, but in these 3 days we have like 4 or 5 players with 100k and attacking ES players, my clan players, like talking about the syndicate. This game is a war game, and what did you planned for these players like Top Assassin of GA who attack? I think it's BSS players, but you have a plan for these players who simply TP and attack other guilds?
Yeah, so, we've kind of already put a process in that. I know it's the one thing I know I always say is it's really good if you see a ping on Discord, and I don't know how new you are to Discord or not, but if you see a red dot or a red circle that is on this server or on a channel, it's really good to take time to read that information. For example, given that you do, let me see here if you have, oh, you know what? Never mind. You only had the leader tag, so you probably didn't see the channel anyways. But in that case, let me just say that I just added you, Fossey, so you should have access to some more channels now. But one of the channels
Sure.
that you will see is that there is a blacklist channel. So we took time yesterday to set up a lot of these processes. For example, we set up a blacklist channel, which is an announcement channel for any players that we've added to the blacklist. In addition to that, we also added a PvP chords channel. Why am I getting a little bit of an echo? We also added a PvP chords channel, and the chords channel is for posting coordinates for any blacklisted players or for any players that are, being rogue or are, bullying, if you will, any other players on the server. So that way, any of our rapid response team members or others can go out and address those players. And it also allows for us to keep track of the blacklisted players, people like Top Assassin 24/7. I mean, there was people posting Top Assassin's chords for the past, since we posted that yesterday, so probably for the past 16 hours, people have been constantly looking for him to the point of where he left his alliance or he was removed and joined another one. So, his progression is already going to be a lot slower because anytime anyone has an opportunity to attack him or others that are able to, we'll be doing that. And the fact is that we have a lot more eyes looking for him than he does the amount of support. So there are processes we've put in place, and we did that early for this exact reason, because we wanted to make sure that we were protecting as many players on the server, if not everyone, that we could from any rogue players. So it's not just something we're doing for our alliances, it's something we're doing for the health of the server, which includes everyone. But in the short answer is yes, processes are in place.
Okay.
Sure. Sorry, was there anything else? Or was that it? Or was there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, something is like really about the cities, and I have a little guild in city level 3. I think it's Erebus, and like my clan won the city, but I talk with the leader and he simply ignore me, and I know he's online. And what do I do, like, to these guys? I just attack. I talk to you. I don't know what to do with these minor clans. You know.
I'm back.
Okay. And I'm sorry, explain the situation again? You
And
said you
so
messaged him, they
have
didn't
like
respond?
a level. And no, he simply ignore me in every moment I try and to talk with them when I see he's online, but he's ignore me.
Okay. And you're trying to talk with him for what exactly?
For he leaves of the city because like they have 1 million power, and the more powerful member of his guild like have 90k, so he's not able to take level 3 city. So I thought, and I send a PV saying for, and he's leave the like the area of the Airbus, who is the city of I trying to take. You understand?
Okay. Okay. Got you. What I would do then in that situation is, I mean, if they're a low-powered alliance, which city is it?
Airbus, it's like level 3.
Oh, you said Erebus. Let me take a look so I can try and let me see. It's sorry. Okay, let me take a look here. Yeah, I mean, so like with the cities, and this is something we'll talk about in a bit as well, is that for the level 3 cities, I want to say there should be 12 of them when I counted yesterday. Let me double check. What do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, What was it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I think I counted right. So, so with the level 3 cities, the idea there is that we're going to try and give the level 3 cities to around the top 12 players, or excuse me, what I should say is around the top 12 alliances. Um, right, this is also factoring in, our syndicate family alliances as well. The main reason I say that is because the, with our group coming in, and I've talked about this with some of the leads yesterday too as well, is that the benefit. Oh, and I'm sorry, Fossey. I guess if you could just mute your mic whenever you're not talking, please. Just
Oh,
I
thank
think
you.
I'm getting a little bit of an echo. Thank you though. Appreciate. The big reason I say that is because with our group there is a little bit more organization and structure than there is just with individual alliances. And that's not to say that any of the other alliances may not have any structure at all or not, or they might in this case as well. But we can't speak for any of the other non-family alliances when it comes to how well are they managing their players? Are they sending out educational mails? Are they giving tips and good best practices? Are they help are they contributing to the server's health, right? As far as when it comes to policing any of the bullies and things like that. When it comes to working with everyone in the server as well, right? These are things that our group coming in, already has these kind of management protocols in place and things that we're doing to help the server as a whole. In addition to that, it's not as though any of the syndicate family alliances are like ranked 20 plus or 30 plus. If that was the case, it would be a little bit different. But given that the hope is to try and give the higher level cities or the next level city, right, to however many cities there are, and then kind of looking at the top, looking at the top number, right? So if there's 12 level 3s, top 12, right, somewhere around that, we should say, plus or minus. But then those lower level cities can be given up, right? So as an example, right, like I think a good thing we can do early on would be to abandon the level 1 cities. So like if your alliance is in the top 12, right, or let's just say if your alliance has a level 2 city, or even when a level 3 city comes up, right, I think it's okay to abandon the level 1 cities at that point. And the big reason I say that is because it really all factors like long-term endgame. The benefit is that by giving up level 1 cities, more alliances in the server are able to capture a city. If more alliances are able to capture a city, they will play longer. If they play long enough, until we get access to the World Heart, once the first Contention of Relics event comes up, we will get access to server mail. Once we get access to the impromptu server mail, which is a soft version of it, but nonetheless it still allows for us to message every player on the server, we can then take steps to educate players on the server. We can let people know, hey, look, this server's really organized. Here's some things you can look forward to. If you stay here and you play here, we can then start getting more players onto the Discord. There's a lot of great things we can do in addition to sending out good tips and good best practices. Those are things that will keep more players on your server and retain more activity. I will say that when the V1.2 update came out, right, and keep this in mind, our server, since the 1.2 update came out, probably has the most potential to retain the most amount of player activity since that update was released. And let me see here what they have currently on. Let me see what they did for the patch notes on when it actually went. So the 1.2 update, let me see, 4.12 was when they released the patch notes. And then let me see what they have here for, let me see if they put it in announcements, just so I can make a more interesting point here. Okay, yeah, so it was 4.12. It looks like when they released the patch notes is also when it went live. So keep in mind, this is what, 15 days ago? So since about 2 weeks ago, when the update hit, right, there really hasn't been another server, right? Because what that's about, what, maybe 5 servers. So you're looking at 30, so what, 35, 34, 33, 32. So you're looking at maybe around server 32 is when the update hit. There really haven't been, at least from what I've seen, any other organized groups that have gone to a server since 32 hit. Because you have to also look at all the servers from 31 before did not have access to server mail like they just recently added in the 1.2 update. This means that when a new server came out, right, or for their server, however long that server lasted until a new server came out, and they got 100% of that incoming traffic, they were then had to go out and do it the old-fashioned way, just like we did in S8, where we had to go out and message the top 100 players or the top 300 players in the server to let them know about the Discord, or message the leaders and try and get them on, right? Having the ability to message every single player in a server, I cannot tell you how valuable that is. As I've said repetitively, not only to keep player retention, but to keep your server extremely active in addition to educating your server, right? Information is key. Right, that's one of the reasons why a lot of players hear me preach about that so much. It is really important is that if you give players good information, they will feel more confident and they feel more comfortable when the time comes to actually contribute and engage in your server. So these are all important things that we look at when it comes to how we're going to plan development for the server. And keep in mind, this is just early game, right? This is us working it out until all the cities have been captured, and then we're going to transition to like a top 16 alliance redistribution city plan that we already have drafted. This is something I put a lot of work into when I was in S8. We came up with a top 16, a top 12, and a top 9 city distribution plan based on how much alliance and player activity we had by the time all the cities were captured. But the important part is trying to keep as many alliances engaged and active as possible, because we are going to eventually do merges, right? You'll have lower ranked alliances that'll merge into like mid-tier alliances, right, that are still kind of within that top 20, top 16 range, and you'll just see activity condense, right? It's going to happen no matter what. Those are things we'll even proactively work on when it comes to reaching out to lower ranked alliances and trying to facilitate some of those mergers with any alliances that are in the top 20, right, regardless if they're a part of our family or not, right, because we're really in this for the long run, right? Serververse, for anyone here who has played server versus server, man, I really wish they added options where I could, ask people to give like a thumbs up or a check mark on their voice call or something. Gosh, like, because that's something you can do in like the oh god, what am I thinking of? One of those like voice call softwares for like meetings and things like that you can do. Maybe it'll be something the Discord will add later. So I was just thinking about convenience for a moment. But ideally, if you're someone who's played a kingdom builder in a server versus server or a kingdom versus kingdom type format that game has, right, then that is the most important thing for any server or any kingdom that is within that kingdom builder genre, right? That's what players like myself and others look forward to. There's also AVA, which is like the Alliance versus Alliance. That's something that a lot of players look forward to as well. But the reason why server versus server / KVK is the most important is because it allows for the majority, if not all of your active players in your server to participate. That's why it's the most important. At least in my eyes, because of that number one reason. So that's why things we're doing now are to work towards that. That's why we talk about things like we don't care who the number one alliance is. That's why we talk about things like balancing out the power. That's why we talk about things like sharing resources and cities in the server. Right? These are all very important aspects to retaining that overall activity as long as we can until we get access to server mail, and then we can really help mitigate and retain even more of it from there. Anyways, I know there's some questions now, and I'm sure I just went on somewhat of a semi-longish rant, and I feel like I hear something. Tickload, would you just mind muting whenever you're not talking, please? That'd be appreciated. And, okay, so let me see what else I had here on my server news because I do want to. Oh, my bad. Excuse me. Before I'm getting so far off topic. Let me go back down the list. Band or Nacho or anyone from Desi. Did you guys have something? Because like I said, I want to try and hear from all the leads or at least an officer from each of the alliances, just to kind of get your overall feedback on how you think the server's progressing so far based on what I've talked about. So I don't know.
Boss Nas, by the way, as I explained to you before, because our leader and officers can't speak English, I represent here royalty as a leader. Okay, so
Yes. Oh
not
yeah.
consider me as an officer on that.
No, no, of course. Yeah, no, I know you've
So
let me know.
I think you can promote me as leader on the Discord, so it will be seen by everyone.
Got you. Yeah, no, no I have you added you too, as well to the 36 leader chat. So you are set up and good to go.
Yeah,
Nacho.
I wrote something at there as you see.
Okay, got you, got you. Let me see here. Sorry, Nacho, you said you're looking for a mic. Don't know if you found one. Let me see. Band. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you covered everything.
Oh, oh, sorry, Ben. I didn't hear you.
I got nothing else.
You okay? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
No, no worries. I just always want to give people a chance to hear. Let me see. Let me go down. Where am I at now? How about from FS? Let me see. Cosmo. I'm sorry. I don't know if you're an officer. You're not. Is anyone else? Is anyone from FS here? From Forsaken? That's an officer or lead. Okay. No worries. We'll just go down the line. Let's see here. Who's next after that? Okay. How about? Sorry. How about IS? Is Bacon still here? Or I don't know. Maybe he left. Okay. Man Bear Pig. Or if there's any officers from IS that want to provide some feedback. No? Okay. No worries. Can always come back. Let me see. Who do I have now? Krishna from Mystical. What's up? Anything you'd like to add?
Hello.
Hey.
Yes, I am here. Hello.
Yeah. No, we hear you good. Any feedback you'd like to provide?
Feedback about what exactly? I mean, I heard you, but I did not really understand.
Well, no, just general feedback on how you think the server's progressing so far and how everything's going, or anything you'd like to make note of.
Oh, in my opinion, it is going really smoothly for most of us. Obviously, cannot be for everybody. It's just not possible. So, at the most of us, or for the majority of people, I think it's going in a smooth way. And in the green, I think there is a little bit lack of leadership from the other alliances. I'm not sure what they're doing. I mean, I'm not talking about PHXS, which is include our syndicate family. I'm not talking about them, but the others, because their members are keep coming to us, like our alliance and PHXS alliance. So I'm not sure how they are doing. And we are currently full, so we are not accepting anybody. I hope they are doing well, and then I think they need to work on themselves rather than trying to complaining about everything else. And I think that's all from my side. But if you ask about my alliance, we are doing great. Nothing happening. We're just peaceful, playing here and there, doing whatever is necessary to develop our alliances, and also helping out the new members who are coming in. We had today some new people coming in. They started like yesterday or maybe a few hours ago. So yeah, we are doing great from our side, and yeah, that's it for my alliance and my opinion or my feedback for the server at the moment.
Okay. No, thanks you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. Let's see here.
Boss, do you hear me?
Yeah, Nacho, what's up? Yes, go ahead.
Hey, man. Well, I think it's going great. Just one little thing that now that things have like settled down, I think leaders and officers should take the time to message some of the top players which are a part of our alliances but didn't come in the initial jumping group. just to make sure that they know that we're all like a big family, a group, and that even though we're in different alliances or kingdoms, we should still help each other. Because I've seen some people say that, well, but they are blue, we are red, why should we help them? Just to make sure that this message like gets sent.
Okay. Yeah, no, for sure. I think, yeah, I again, that I know that's the big reason why, we've been trying to make efforts as far as getting as many people, especially the leaders and the officers for as many of the top alliances into the Discord as possible, along with messaging them in game, and letting people know. I think some of those things, as far as general kind of server policies, will probably start trying to post out today. Now that we're able to get more people converted over to the S36 section, along with providing some more clear guidelines and directives for the leaders as well that have joined the Discord. And then I think, again, once we get access to that server mail, that will be probably the next big saving grace, to us being able to message every player on the server and really let them know, all of that information, that would help them. But at least for the meantime, I think the things we're working on right now are good, especially with the amount of players we have coming in. But the short version there is that, yes, those things will definitely get addressed, because I do think you're right in that regard. Is that, again, it's like that out of sight, out of mind, right? They don't know what they don't know. So us taking time to explain that to them, is definitely going to be probably one of the next big things we do today.
Perfect. Thanks.
Sure. Let me see here. Sorry, who else did I have working down? Make, what did I say? IS, Krista said something. OS. I guess even though I'm in OS. Let me see. Toot or Tut. Go ahead. If you have anything.
Whichever you prefer. We are good so far. So nothing extraordinary is going on. Somebody was sharing something about that we are moving towards the city somebody wants. It was Barth.
Sorry, what? Someone was moving? Oh, you mean what I was saying earlier?
No. I just saw some of your conversation with Barth that also is moving towards the city somebody wants. I'm not sure. Barth.
Oh, no, I think, well, I have to look. I think that was okay. I think that should be okay. So, like I said, I know that's going to be probably the big thing I need to do today is, message the leads and kind of let them know what the general game plan is for the cities itself. So, yeah, because I think I have a good idea as far as a good strategy to do that for even other top alliances, even if for ones that are kind of outside the top 12 or not, for our group itself. But like I said, it's really just going to be a matter of me, like, I need to write something up for a quick copy paste, and so I could send it to everyone and then message everyone in game. But yeah, but if there is something that you notice, let me know, and then we can definitely address it.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see
Okay, that's all from my side.
how. Okay. No, thanks for sharing, Ted. Appreciate it. Nice, short and sweet. So let me see. How about Phoenix? If there's a lead or officer from Phoenix, if anyone wants to provide some feedback on how you guys think everything's going.
Yo, it's Bel. Hi there. Hi guys. Yeah, so well, everything's going great, and yeah, I mean, honestly, this project's one of the best things that's happened, I think, for Kingdom Builder. So thank you so much, for boss. A couple of things that I've noticed. The first one would be regarding language barriers. I think that that's one of the most major things for an international server like ours. We're having a little bit of problems with language barriers, and we've lost, I think, a couple of players because of it. So I was wondering, if there has been any provisions that could be made for that, possibly language or nationality or block-based alliances that could help. Something like, royalty, where they actually have, somebody who can represent them with English in our group, as well as communicate with them in their native language. I thought that that would be a bit helpful. That's the first. And the second one is regarding rogue players, and I think I'll maybe raise that later in the Q&A section. But I was a bit concerned about, the best way forward dealing with them. What could really hurt them, and could stop them from causing any more problems? Because especially since some of them are real caches, right? That's really a big problem. They cache a lot, right? Real whales. Yeah. So that's all from me. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Uh, okay. Sorry, I just wanted to send that mail. Okay. So yeah, let me. So let me start with the first one there to address. I do appreciate you bringing those up too. So the first one would be kind of the foreign language challenges. I'm going to be honest. I think that is always going to be a challenge no matter what, because I just don't think the in-game translation is ever going to be perfect, right? I think there are things that help when it comes to foreign language. Like for example, when I type things out, and even on Discord, right, and even in-game mails, I really try to type things out with the most used words that are not conjunctions or don't have apostrophes after them, right? They're single words, and those I think are really important when it comes to other international players translating messages. I think that's probably one of the best things we initially can do, and that's for every leader, every officer. If you're sending mails, try to really proactively think about that when you are typing up mails or messages that you're sending. Try to really use the most basic form of your language that you can, without any kind of addition or additional or as I was mentioning, kind of conjunction type words or others that would make it difficult to translate for another player. That would be the first thing. I think the second thing is that we could probably eventually set up some international language channels on our server. Though, and so I think those are things I'll probably talk about with Spaghetti and maybe some others as well to look at that. And then I think the third point there to address that is I do think there is good value in having players that are around the same as far as native language speaking, right, or nationality in general, especially if they only speak the native language. We saw this in S8 where, we had like a Spanish alliance, there was a Turkish alliance, right, and then they just had an officer or a lead that spoke English, right, or was semi-fluent. That would kind of be their representative. I think that would be, in the ideal world, I think it's a good thing. And once we eventually get access to server mail from World Heart, that's something we would actually be able to promote. So we can find out how many foreign language alliances we have, and then if people or if players want to join those, we can promote those alliances. We could say, if you speak this language, here's an alliance you can join. If you speak this language, here's an alliance you can join. Otherwise, what we'll probably find out is some players just don't mind, being in an international alliance. So I think for some they won't mind, for some they probably would prefer. But I think those are 3 points that we can use to kind of address that going forward. But I think with the grain of salt that it's never going to be perfect, even though we would like for it to. But we can at least do things to try and get it there as best we can.
One comment to that, maybe it would be worth it to have few mediators or translator guys, so if there is an language barrier issue or something, they can check Discord who speaks that language, and that person would be serving as a translator or mediator. It went very well for Orion Alliance. He speaks Spanish or Portuguese. I don't know, but that works well, and he already could avoid and war with Green faction, and he explained all the goals with Server 36. So we got one more alliance basically sign on the project instead of going into war. So maybe for the beginning, let's have few people who speak multiple languages and can explain things. Have them on Discord and check, or just send out an email. I don't know to speak Hungarian. You speak, I don't know, Spanish or whatever. So if you have language issues, just contact those people. They will help you get the message through in the right way. Just a note.
Okay. No. I think so. One, I do think that's a great idea. It is something that we've done before, where we would set up a foreign language speakers channel. So if there was any players that spoke multiple languages, we would have a channel set up, a public channel set up. So that way, if like let's say in your situation, Tut, that you brought up to me before, right, about if there were like I've seen you ask, hey, is there someone that speaks this language? Well, we're gonna do that. That might be one of the other announcements I'll put out today, and we'll set up a foreign language speaker channel. So anyone that wants to volunteer or help out when it comes to speaking to another alliance that has, that is having a little bit of trouble with a language barrier, then you can go to that list and find someone that speaks that language and reach out and ask them, hey, when would you have some time next? If you're able to speak to this person in game, or maybe to talk to them on voice if they're on Discord, right? That's why it's always good to try and ask the players, hey, do you have Discord? If so, join, just because it makes it easier to set up those voice calls if and when possible. But again, to your point, that is something what we'll be hopefully setting up today. As I do think it helps a lot. Especially, I think a big part of it is it's also very respectable. Because when you take time out of your day to try and communicate with someone that may really want to work with us and may really want to work with the server and be an asset and a contributor to the server, I think it speaks volumes when you approach any players in a very professional, respectable way to try and speak in their native language. Right, so I think that's something that kind of our foreign language speaker volunteers can do, like you gave the example with that other player. So yeah, hopefully we'll try and get that set up today. Sure, we should have space opening up today. Okay. Sorry, let me keep going on the list, and then we're going to open up the floor for Q&A. Wow, we're at like 35. I think we're at almost 40, or like high 30s just a few minutes ago, too. That's awesome to see. Let me see. So we did OSY. Phoenix said something. Gosh, I don't know. Are there any other leads or officers here from other alliances that I did not call on or ask? And I apologize because I know not everyone has their alliance name in the brackets.
I'm here. I'm not sure if someone from BSS has spoken yet.
Oh, no. Oh, go ahead, Pirate. Awesome, please.
Oh yeah. So first of all, good morning. Sorry, I was late to Tamho. It's very early in my country, so I just got here. But I'm not sure if you've spoken about it already. I just wanted to ask about city distributions because I see some of the leaders from Server 36 are making quite long-term plans for their cities, like level 4, level 5, level 6, and that's quite some time away from now. So I just wanted to know if there was any, things to know or to follow about that topic.
Yeah. So, I think what we're gonna try and do right now is just kind of is really try to go try to just take one city at a time. So for now, I think because the level 3s are the ones that are next, and I think there's only, let me see, these ones have been upgraded, I think, to 3. Let me see. I don't know. I don't think anyone's taken a level 3 yet. So yeah, no one's taken a level 3 yet. I think everyone's setting. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's mainly because they're not open yet. It's the second time I forgot. I'm telling you guys, I suffer from short-term memory loss. It's a real thing. My lady tells it to me every day. So, anyways, because the level 3 cities are not going to open until tomorrow, that is really what we should be focusing on. I think one city at a time. And the reason I say that is because rankings can shift, and they can change as player capacity opens up. Ideally, in what I would like to say would kind of be the semi-perfect situation, would be if let me see here. What do I have? Let me take a look real quick and see. So level 3 cities are going to open up tomorrow, and then on the 30th. Oh my God! Wow. Okay, never mind then. So Nacho, take care. Thanks for joining. So level 4 and 5 cities will open up on May 3rd. Wow. Okay, so that is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 days away from today that level 4 and 5 cities will open up. This is why I say that there's plenty of time, and we really should just be worried about the level 3 cities. For level 4 cities, let me see. Well, because level 4 and 5s are going to open up at the same time, but level 4s are most likely going to be capturable. Will most likely just be the next ones that are capturable first. Let me see if I can't remember if there's 12 or less. Let's do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's right. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so there's 10, if I counted that right. I think I did. So 10 cities. Nav, take care. Take care. Thanks for coming. So for level 2 and 3s, there's 12. Once we get to level 4, there will be 10. And then, let me see. So most likely at that point, what we'll probably do is...
I counted 12.
Oh, God, really? God, do I suck at counting? Oh, man, this is really
Or
bad.
maybe I suck at counting. I'm not sure.
Let me do this again. What am I starting? Drifta, 1. Let me go to the next. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. None here. 6.
It's gonna be 13 seconds.
7. Let's see here. What do I got? Where am I going? 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it should be 10. Why? Why do I feel like I just counted 9? That's so weird. I want to say maybe. It could be. I'm off too. Balthus, thanks, man. No, I appreciate you turning in. Okay, thanks, man. Yeah, I was like, it has to be because I thought 5. I don't know. I bet you I double counted for 10. Because I think 5 has 9 as well. Let me confirm. Because there's 3 capitals, so this would be 4. 5. Let's see here. 6,
Are we talking level 3s, right?
6. Level 4s. 7.
Oh.
8.
Okay,
9. Okay, yeah. So there also is 9 questions. Yeah. Oh yeah, Balthus. No, I'm definitely going to answer that as well. Actually, sorry, since you're still here, let me see if I can answer that real quick. You said I'm going to head to bed now. When it comes to the discounted stuff on the 70 missions, what are the must-buys? The only thing I would say that you would want to buy on that would be... Do you mean the Helen event? Is that what you mean? Because if you're referring to the Helen event, then what I would say is probably just the day 6, which is the... It's not this one. The day 6 is like the epic. It's like 2k gems for an epic immortal. That would really be the only thing that I really believe would be something that's worth it. I don't think anything else... Oh, God. Yeah, I don't really think anything else is really worth it. I mean, to be honest, it also just depends on what you want to invest in. If you feel okay spending 2k gems on an epic immortal, then I would say, go ahead. But as far as that's the only thing. Like, for me, I just invested everything into VIP, but that's my route. So it doesn't necessarily mean that is... going to be everyone's route, but I would say day 6, the 2k chest from the Helen event would be probably the must buy if you wanted to try and get something there. Sorry, and then you said with gems, once you're VIP 10, just spend gems on summons. So you could. That is a strategy. As far as once you hit VIP 10, just spend gems on summons. Just because then you're already getting... Oh my god, sorry. My midday yawn. Just because then at that point you're already getting your extra Philo Stone every day. So at that point it's up to you as far as what you want to do. You know, I can tell you on my account, I'm just going to invest green gems, everything into VIP. So as far as that goes, you know, again, that's just my strategy, right? That's just because I firmly believe that, you know, VIP is like one of the only few kind of X factors when it comes to PvP that you can get additional bonuses from. So I think it's kind of hard to value out the gauge, because once you start getting to some of those higher VIP levels, right, you're going to start getting a lot better bonuses for your actual marches and your city bonuses as well. So, you know, like I said, I mean, you know, if everyone has a maxed account, right, at T5, Max Academy, right, Max Tech, everything's level 40, right, what are the actual X Factor bonuses that every player can get? It's really VIP, right, that it comes down to. So that's why my belief, right, but again, that's just where I'm coming from. It doesn't mean that everyone has to do that, right? I do think there is some good value in spending green gems on Philosopher Stones, because you're going to be able to get higher level marches faster. If anything, for me, I'm just playing the super long game, essentially. But I also think there's good value if you decide that once you hit VIP 10, then you just spend green gems on Philosopher Stones. I think that is a viable strategy as well, and it does make sense. Okay, awesome. Excuse me. Now that I've got that question completed or answered, let me get back to the city distribution thing. So the idea here is that, and most likely I'm probably going to abandon a level 1 city today, and that'll just be in preparation for when the level 3 cities come up. Let me see real quick as well, because now that they've changed things... you're welcome, take care. Let me see how long the City Siege event goes for. So City Siege is going to last 9 days. That means that cities 4 and 5 will be able. So the good thing, though, is they lowered the faction power amount. So let me count real quick. Oh, God, hang on. Where's my faction power sheet? Just because this is going to help me answer your question. Give me 1 sec. I have to look at that faction power sheet, which I think is in server chat that we added for pins. Oh my god, did no one add the amount? Ask added something there, but I don't think there's the sheet that I really want, which is the one that actually says how many points each building has. Let me see where that is listed. Oh, it's listed somewhere. Oh gosh. Okay, that must mean it must be listed on a different. Oh god, you know what? Hang on, no. It's listed on one of my Google spreadsheets. Give me 1 sec. Oh gosh, what am I looking at? Give me 1 sec here. Let me look at my city distribution list, because I think I have everything down. I think it's 10, 20, I think it's 10, 20, 30, 50 is the points. Give me 1 sec, I'll confirm that. I wish they had all the points listed. It would be so nice. Oh, they do! I just had to click this exclamation point. I bet you someone said that to me already. They're like, you nub. Oh wow, no one told me that. It's okay. I figured it out. Okay, so let me go off this. So with, hang on, is someone getting attacked? What's happening? Oh, never mind. It's just someone randomly attacking a city. Okay. So let's go to City Siege and look at the points real quick. So, because this will help us answer that question. So, you need 350 points to get the top faction power reward. This means, or sorry, the top alliance reward. This means that, because Supreme Alliance lasts 16 days, and then you got the power challenge. This is going to last 2 more. Who's at the top of the power boards right now? Oh my god, I'm so weak. Oh, look, hey, it's Valve. Shout out to Valve. And then a bunch of other people. Okay, cool. So let me do this. Let me go back to City Siege. So you need 350 points for every player in your alliance to get 3k gems. That's an amazing amount of gems. So what we would like to try and do in an ideal world is try and get as many alliances as we can to 350, right? And just at 350, not anything more, but really try and make it add up. So if we add level 5 and level 4, that puts us at 200. 3, 2, and 1, right, which would mean that puts us at 300. So what we could do here is we could do it to where we give, because I think once you get to 4s and 5s, right, you're only going to do 9. So we could try and give, let's just say 9 alliances, a level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 city. And then, and again, this is give or take the capital, because capital is going to be stronger than a standard level 5. And then from there, we could give them an extra level 3, which could be an option that we do. But that would mean that only, again, it would still mean that only 9 alliances would be able to hit the 350 tier, right? So that's the kind of asterisk there, and that's because once the city siege event ends, you're not going to get access to level 6 cities for, God, let me see how long. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Wow, it's going to be longer. So that means level 5 capitals aren't going to open until the 10th. So that actually means that only 6 alliances are probably going to be able to hit the 350 mark. So you kind of have to think about min-maxing here as far as city distribution goes. Wow, I didn't realize that they were really cutting this off. Wow, they're really pushing a lot of stuff back on Chronicles. I see. And then 6 and 7s, and then probably it's 7 capital. It is. Wow, they're really pushing timelines back. Okay, so in that case then, we're going to have to look at that differently. So that means that only 6 alliances, most likely, if they cap a level 1, 2, 3, and 4 city. Well, actually, no, more than 6, because you could have... Let's see here. Yeah, because you would be 6, and then the other 3 cities, the other 3 alliances would have to double up on level 4 cities. Again, if we did it that way. I'll have to look at the math there. That means that... leveling up cities doesn't factor in. So it only factors into the production increase that you get from the cities. Every city has a standard faction point value allotted to it, and that amount doesn't change. I thought the same thing too in the beginning. So that would mean that we're looking at 6 alliances to cap 5 cities, and then plus an extra level 3. That would put them at 350. So that could at least get us 6. And then you would have... then you would have 2... Then you'd have 3 alliances that would have 2 level 4s. That would meet us at 12. And again, keep in mind, we can still do some redistribution once we see where the points are at right now. So yeah. So I think the best thing to do right now would be just to allow each of the top 6 and then top 6 alliances to capture a level 5, with the exception of trying to have it be... I mean, in a perfect world, I would really like to try and have the top 2 alliances from each faction doing it, just so there is some faction spread. That would be the ideal scenario. as far as when it comes for level 5s. Level 4s is easy because you could still have the top 9 alliances, but still in the perfect world, right, top 3 from each faction would be great. I think for now, because no one's captured a level 3, I think part of it is, like I said, probably a little premature. This is if we're just trying to min-max, right, for how many alliances can reach 300, or we can do it the other way. We can do it the other way, where we try and have as many alliances reach 200 faction power, and then that way we can have more players benefit from more gems, right? Sure, even though some may not be able to hit 3K, right, keep in mind these are just free gems anyways, right? It's just an event for free gems. I think another way of looking at it, and probably a little more efficiently, is we could do it that way. I think if we try to shoot for having as many alliances hit 200 faction power for the 2K free gems, that would allow for more players to benefit than if we tried to min-max and limit cities. Because if we do that, that means that we're going to have to abandon, we're either going to have to retake or abandon cities that other alliances have. And even if you explain the situation to them, it's still going to cause people to leave, no matter what. So now that I'm really thinking about it long term, I think it probably is better if we just try and have as many alliances reach the 200 faction power goal than the 350. I think for longevity and server health, that's probably going to be a better approach. What that would mean is that, let me see here what we have. Yeah. What that would mean is that the top alliances could just cap a level 5 and a level 4, so that means 6 alliances would be set there. And then you'd have the other 3 alliances that would have a, let me see here, a level 1 through 4 city. And that would put them at, what, 130 plus 50, 80? So they would just have to grab. So then you would have 3 alliances that would just have to capture an extra level 1. No biggie. That means that could get us 9 alliances at the 200 faction power. And then you would have, for the level 3s. So there's 12 level 3s. So that means that, oh, let's see about this. I'm just trying to see how much of a difference that would really factor. So that gets us 9 even. And then for the level 3s, if you have 3 more alliances that cap each, that puts them at 100 points. Which would mean, let me see here. So then, that's probably going to be hard. So I think the best approach there would be just to try and get them to the 100 faction power. So I think doing it that way, we can still get 9 alliances to 200 faction power effortlessly without having to redistribute too much, which I think is going to be the ideal play. And then we'll try and get as many alliances as we can effortlessly into the 100 faction power range. So let me work on this today and come up with a grid. Again, I don't want to take too much of the time away from the actual chat because all I'm doing is just talking math here right now. So let me work on this today. Come up with a good game plan for how we can do that with minimal city redistribution. But I do think it's very doable. So, anyways, I hope that answers the question, even if it took me about 10 minutes or so to try and get you an answer. Okay, next thing, let me see what we have left on the list. So I think the next thing is just kind of opening the floor for any general Q&A. I think we've covered a lot right now, and let me see where we're at. We're at an hour and 18 minutes. Oh, wow. I actually thought we were a little bit farther along than that, or longer. So, yeah, I think we've talked about a lot of good stuff. So let me just open the floor up now. Oh, so if anyone has any questions, let me just put it here out. We're opening the floor up for any questions to be asked during the town hall or answered for replay in the VOD. Can ask here. Okay. So, sorry, if anyone has any questions now, you're more than welcome to type them in to the town hall chat. Otherwise, if you'd like to voice your question, just give us a hand raise or a hand emoji, and then we'll call on you to ask your question over voice. Otherwise, if you want to type a question out, you're more than welcome to, especially if you're not in a position to where you can voice. And I'll just wait for some questions to come through. And let me see if I missed any other questions above, in addition to checking on things in game that I'm sure I've been neglecting a little bit. Because after this finishes, I'm gonna get some solid food, and I have to make a bunch of calls today too. Okay, but we're actually doing really good timing. Typically, around the time that I actually check, it's usually almost 2 hours, and I'm like, wow, I've spent a lot of time talking. Sorry. Yeah, so you, let me see. So, leave Alliance. Load up. Go out of your city to the world map. Oh gosh, I have to walk someone through how to do something real quick. Let me see. Okay, then you click on, okay. Click on globe and bottom right corner. Find S36. Click on it, and then click. Okay, sorry, I just had to write something up real quick. Okay, sorry, let me come back now, and I just had to explain some things. Okay, here we go. Manbeard Pig said, I just want to stress how important I think it is to figure out the city decision ASAP. Folks are going to take it into their own hands if there isn't a direction to go for that 300 faction point. I would really like to have a plan set up before they start executing on their own. So yeah, no, like I said, we definitely will. I'll actually try to put something out today. The good thing is we have plenty of time. Because, well, at least plenty of time given when the actual cities will open up to take, because you're only going to be able to grab level 3 cities once tomorrow opens. And then it's going to be longer for that until 4 and 5s.
But, hey, so this is Manbeer Pig. So, I know you say there's plenty of time, but people already have their plan. So when Chronicle 3 opens, they're going to take their level 3, and they're going to move right to their level 4 or 5 and start hiving. So I don't think there's that much time. Like, we want to have a plan before that all starts in motion. That's the part that I just want to stress out. Like, I think we need to have the direction out there before Chronicle 6 finishes.
Yeah, no, of course. I definitely agree there. So I think, like I said, once the Town Hall finishes here shortly, I'll probably just go get something to eat, and then I'll come back, and I'll take a look. I'll write a mail out, so we can post that to the group. I'll probably post it to the leaders and the officers first, and then we also need to try and get more of the alliances into the Discord. But once that happens, and I send it out to the group first to let them kind of know what the general plan is, then we can go from there. The one thing I will say, though, is that I really think I am leaning more towards just having everyone go for the 200 faction points. Like I said, I think the challenge is that if we try and have too many people go for 350, then we're just going to ostracize too many other alliances that are still active. And even if the majority of players in the lower ranked alliances may not be, let's say hyper active, or if it's players that might still be lower powered, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be contributing players or players that could potentially contribute in the long run, even from lower ranked alliances. And I know, like I said before, I think the big part here is that we just try and keep as much retention as possible until we get access to server mail, and then until we also transition to our kind of final city distribution plan once all the cities have been captured. Like I said, it's just free gems. It's the same thing as like if when an event comes around, you know. And so I think with just how well 36 is still going right now, and what seems to be the majority, if not everyone, pretty much on board with the idea, I think that'll be something that will help out a lot. But yeah, I do agree they're trying to get it out as soon as we can, and hopefully I'll have that drafted up today in the next couple hours.
And I'm totally fine with that. Especially if you're going to have people not go for the 350, I think it's even more important to get it out sooner than later.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with that. People are going to be going for 350 if we don't send out the direction of, hey, maybe nobody's going for 350 to get it to a whole bunch of people. That's even more important to know well in advance.
Oh, no, agreed. And I think more alliances will be in favor of that, because it just means that more alliances are now going to be able to hit higher tiers on the City Siege list to get those free gems. And I think if you're looking at the majority of the player base, I think more is better for everyone. If we went with the 350 plan, we would have to cut out and basically retake cities from others in that scenario. So, but yeah, no, I do agree there though. Manbeers, as far as getting that out. So like I said, I mean, that'll probably be my priority to do after the town hall finishes, to get that out, and then also send that out to everyone that's on the S36 side of the server after I let the leaders and officers know first. Sorry, let me see if someone else had another question here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it's okay, Band. It happens all the time. It's pretty standard. You'll have, 1, 2, 3, or like random players that'll just attack cities for no reason. It doesn't really affect anything. If it's just a few people sometimes it might even just be one person. That is. It doesn't matter. I laugh it off. I let people waste their AP unnecessarily. So, and there's no reason for me to message them to tell them that. So, yeah. Let me see. He just said which one. Sorry, I'm just looking to see if there's any other questions. Yeah. I want to attack them so badly. Oh, jeez. Oxo. Oh, yeah. And I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, if there's an alliance that's going for one of your cities, don't get me wrong, they shouldn't be doing that. But if they do, and there's a good chance that they're probably going to fail, then of course, watch and enjoy the show, get some popcorn out. If it does look like they're going to succeed, then you can go ahead and just attack a few of them, just so it fails. And then, of course, go in and address it as necessary. But if people want to waste their AP, they're more than welcome to. Let me see here. Sorry, yeah, go ahead, Panda. Did you want to voice your question? Or did you want to type it out?
Yeah, I'd rather, yeah.
Okay.
It's faster.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a slow typer. So yeah, it's about like the issue I told you about the other day. Like, we're holding one extra level 2 city because we ET, the Green Alliance, was trying to bully a whole lot of people to get them, so we just hold it. And we're trying to give it to people, but we're contacting a lot of alliances to take it, and no one is answering back. Like I told you, we were trying to get ET to drop one of their extra level ones
Yeah.
and keep and exchange it, but they won't answer. They're not answering me. They used to have a little bit of more communication with Spicy because he's stronger than I, and power knocks the door.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
he's being ghosted too. So I'm not sure what to do. Do we just drop it but like if we drop it and Kip or GA takes it, that's not gonna be good. So like, what do we do?
Sorry, sorry, boss. I come in for a while. It's Valve.
Yep.
ET is one of those alliances that we have a little bit of a language barrier with. They are a Spanish alliance, and I don't have any Spanish speakers that can engage them effectively. I've been trying to talk to them on a little
But I'm
basis, but
Spanish.
it's
I
really
speak
hard.
Spanish.
Oh, you do?
I try to speak them in like
And
our main language, and they just ignore.
oh goodness. Okay, they speak to me, of course, because of power, but I mean, I can't do anything about that. I'm sorry. Yeah. Then yeah, I'm sorry. I can't help.
Yeah, I think. Well, let me ask. Let me start here, Velv. Who have you talked to? Is it just the lead, or did you try messaging all of the officers as well?
The main lead as well as the main officer, and a couple of officers actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
I'm
I actually messaged all of the Green Alliances to try to get them on our side, and some have responded positively, but others not so. Yeah, and ET is one of them.
okay. So let me ask. You haven't got a response back from the leader, and
No, they respond to me, but
Okay.
they seem to be of the idea that when I'm proposing an alliance, I'm talking about getting all the Greens together to go on an offensive against the Reds and Blues, and I can't seem to communicate it to them that that is not our intention. We are a whole server that is trying to work together for the eventual kingdom versus kingdom.
Yeah.
I can't seem to get the idea across. Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah.
My recommendation then would just be, honestly, at that point, would be maybe just to type up like a simple paragraph that just kind of outlines what some of the server goals are and how we plan to work in the server with everyone.
I actually did that. I
Okay.
sent them the one that you have pinned up and that my leader gave me to disseminate
Oh, cool.
as
Cool.
part of diplomacy. Yeah. So I actually sent all of them this, and some have responded positively, but
Okay.
I think ET doesn't seem to get it. Either they're intentionally not getting it for their own purposes,
Mhm.
or they really do not get it.
Gotcha.
But anyway,
Okay.
their power has been but their power has been going down significantly. I think the members are leaving. So yeah, it's just an observation.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, with that, I think that's one of the reasons why I really try to stress that players don't get too hung up on how the current leaderboards look, right, or even current positions, which is the same thing of why we stress, we don't care who number one is because you're going to see shifts, right? Whether that's from merging, from players leaving to join others, right? Whether it's because of poor leadership, if it's because no alliance mails, no social engagement, no communication. Maybe it's because people just want to leave the alliance to try and join a higher one, especially if they're lower on the alliance leaderboard. I mean, it could be for any number of reasons. But typically the ones that are going to kind of stand the test of time are going to be the ones that you see last longer. And if it's a situation like that with ET, where they're kind of slowly dropping on the boards, then eventually they'll most likely probably drop out. Or maybe they'll change leadership. But I think everything you've done so far is right on the money. I mean, again, we can't control if people are going to respond to us or not, and then more so, how they're going to respond. So if you've done your due diligence and you've messaged the leader, you've messaged each of the officers there, trying to kind of explain the situation to them and bring them in, then I would say you've done everything you could have done. If something comes up where they're challenging anything, then okay, right? Then we can address it at that time. If once we come up with the initial kind of city distribution plan up to the end of the city siege event, then we can inform them of that as well, right? If they're still kind of within the top 12, top 9, depending on what category they would fall into. And obviously, we'll let people know that's kind of pending where their rank is. Like, even in my situation for OS, right, we're ranked 11 right now. And obviously, if that holds all the way until when level 4 and 5 cities open, right, then we'll address it. We're going to set some timelines there. where we'll probably tell people, we'll assess and look at the rankings or something like that, 24 hours before the city's open. Right? But this is the thing. In the same breath, keep in mind that it doesn't really matter, where you're ranked for the most part, because, like I said, the whole point, right? And again, because some people might be like, well, boss, haven't you been talking about balancing the powers out for the groups, right? Wouldn't that kind of contradict going off rankings? The short version is yes, but the expanded version is that, right? As I said this previously in the town hall, is that we are looking at one, any of the contributing alliances that are working with us, right, and that have come onto the server, in addition to us looking at our syndicate family alliances as well, to give some priorities in certain areas. And again, that's not to alienate any of the non-family alliances, but as I've said before, the main part to take away there is that our group, just as a whole, is a lot more organized than any of the other non-family alliances that are coming in. And that, as I've said before, does not mean that none of the other non-family alliances don't have experience, and it doesn't mean to say that they're not organized. It just means that I know what our group brings as much as I know the information that we provide to our groups, right? Whether that's from alliance mails that the leaders and the officers send out because they have access to our alliance mail template archive, whether that's everyone just being on the same page because we've all been together longer than we've known any of the new alliances that we're just meeting now in S36. So there's a little bit more history that we have established. Not that much, but a little bit more. And then in addition to all of this just being the early game stage, right? Up until Capital 5, it really, or at least City 5s, I should say, 4 and 5, for that Chronicle, we're still early game. Right, we're still going to end up doing probably a couple more iterations of city redistribution, and this is a temporary city redistribution. Keep in mind, and that's the other thing I want to point out. This is a temporary city redistribution shift. We're only doing this for the City Siege event. Once the City Siege event finishes, right, then we'll be looking at how we're going to redistribute for Supreme Alliance. Right, and then after Supreme Alliance finishes, then we'll go back to a standard, each of the alliances that are capturing higher level cities, right? We'll kind of go off of it based on how many cities are available, and then we'll probably, abandon some of the lower level cities, so some additional alliances past the top 9, top 12 can capture cities, right? And again, that's to try and include and share as many of the resources as we can with the top set of active alliances. If that extends down to the top 20, give or take around there, right, we'll address that on kind of a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. So that way we can try and, as I've always talked about, right, retain as much player activity as we can. And so, it is going to take some effort, but I do think it's doable. Like Manbear Pig said, I think it's just a matter of us having a good game plan. Going in. So, going in and then, of course, having as early as we can. So, yeah. So I hope that answered the question, Pirate, even though I felt like I probably went off on a rant again. So.
Yeah, so I just want to know, what do I do with the extra? We'll do city right now. Do I just keep it until you come up with the actual...
sorry. Yes. Yeah. Just hold on to it for now. Hold on to it for now until I take a look at the top set of alliances, and then we'll. Oh my God! Did I accidentally attack someone's troops? Oh my God! I need to apologize to this person.
Okay, so I just keep it then. Just let me know.
Yeah. No, definitely keep it. Oh my God! I have to apologize. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry for attacking your farmers. I accidentally click search while I was on a call. Okay, good. Just so people don't think I'm some heartless turd. I can already see how that's gonna go for me. Okay. Sorry, let me see if there's any other questions. You said, where can I find gift codes? Oh, sorry. Tickload said, a question from a lower tier alliance. Since we are number 20 in the rankings, we are basically left playing Farmville unless our top players join a top 12 alliance to have a chance to partake in more endgame content. Additionally, seems it's rather pointless to attack other kingdoms, so it doesn't align with the grand scheme. Just would like some clarification or confirmation. So, so Tick, good question. So thanks for that. So keep in mind that at the moment, right, based on the amount of level 1 cities, because there's 20 of them, the hope is to try and include, the top 20 alliances. Maybe even a little more than that, up until we get to endgame. Or I should say to city endgame, which is really more like mid-game. But that's not going to happen for a while because of the timelines that are set on restrictions for when cities are going to open. Eventually, and this is, this could be a month, 2 months down the road, we will eventually transition to a top 16 format. But that's not anytime soon. For now, we are really just concerned with trying to get the most amount of alliances, the most amount of rewards that we can for the upcoming City Siege, and then for the upcoming Supreme Alliance event, as well. So these are, again, with these events, and then after that will be when we start to look at, the kind of initial city distribution, or transitioning to a more open city distribution format until all of the cities have been captured. So, the best thing I can really say now is, like I said, I mean, I don't know if you have a level 1 city or not, but eventually, and again, I'm imagining this is probably going to be somewhere around when the City Siege event ends in 9 days, is when we're really going to try and allow for, any alliances that are not in the top 9 or top 12 an opportunity to have a level 1 city. So that could extend up until the top 29. It could extend up until the top 32. Again, that's something that we'll work on from there, but I do think it'll help based on, again, keeping as many alliances active as possible. Because to be fair, if let's say you're ranked anywhere between, 20 and 30, 20 and 40, 20 and 50, a week, 2-3 weeks down the road, right, the recommendation there is probably going to be to try and merge, because as player capacity opens for the higher ranked alliances, you're probably going to see players from lower ranked alliances leave and consider joining, or you might see merges happening. So those are things just to keep in mind, and that's just a natural progression of how any kingdom builder is going to play. At least I should say for ones that are left with a lot of activity still throughout the beginning, and then also, oh my god, yawn number 2, and then also that are, in a peaceful server. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, your alliance can't participate in endgame content, but when it comes to, as far as being where your position is now, what it means is, what I should specifically say is that it's really going to extend to more of like a top 16. But that, again, that's probably not going to be for a month and a half or 2 months down the road, that we're really talking about. Right now, the best thing I would say is just, keep working on being a good leader, inform your members, give good practices, eventually try and capture a level 1 city, especially when we end up releasing some of those, because we will, once the City Siege event ends. And then, maybe try and do some merges, bring in some more players, recruit, see if you can push yourself up the rankings. I think that's the hope that everyone really has at this point, And even if you see, where my alliance is ranked right now, or others, that are kind of somewhat at the mid-tier range, I mean, I imagine, we'll try and slowly work ourselves up the ranks, but even if the power evens out, and my position doesn't change, that's not gonna change anything, because I could still be ranked 11 even with the top 11 or top 12 alliances all being within 100k or 200k power of each other, right? Or those positions just fluctuating on a daily basis because everyone's working together and trying to keep the power close. So, there are other things to factor as well, but I still think you're fine. Like I said, I would just work on some of those things as I mentioned. gosh, I'm gonna have to level the city up a lot.
Hello there. I have a question. What about the creating alliance syndicate? Picking the big players from the smaller alliances.
I'm so sorry. What do you mean, there, Shiro?
What I mean is, what about creating alliances that are more like big for ones that are, sorry for my bad English, that are more like uh, created from the smaller ones. I mean, picking off the strong players and creating a syndicate alliances in order to, for example, I see in the GA territory, they're surrounded by the red ones,
Mm-hmm.
and sooner or later they will lose it. So what about who gonna protect them?
I see. So you're referring more to like the really smaller alliances. Like you mean ones that are like outside of the top 20 or outside of the top 30.
Yeah.
Okay. So for I got you. So basically, like, what are we going to do with those alliances, or how are we going to help them? Is that the question?
Exactly, because I looked at the territories around, and apparently most of them are separated from the different territories.
Okay. Sorry, I had to yawn again. uh, okay, so I mean, so with that in mind, I mean, I think you know, so
I
like,
mean, look at the red territories. If you look at the red territories,
yeah.
right, you can see that they are actually trying to keep their territories deep, while the blue territory is all scattered around. Sooner or later, we're gonna have like a war between them, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, we're gonna have war.
Yeah. Because at some point we took one of the cities already, and the day before I told my leader already that the red one's going for the same place, and that's what happened. We had the clash there, and we had to stand off, so we took the city. So that's what's gonna happen in the future as well. So I'm thinking about GA alliances and all the alliances that are far away from us. Of course, relocating the castles will be hard to do because they're only 300 kilometers. So who gonna help them? Maybe they're strong, but against all the alliances, it's gonna be a bit difficult for them.
Yeah, so I think that kind of just goes into what I was saying before. So if they're a really low ranked alliance over time, the recommendation there is going to be either just to join a higher ranked alliance or just to merge with an alliance that might be a little bit stronger than them to maybe help boost them up on the leaderboards. Keep in mind, there's a finite amount of resources. There's only 90 cities on the map, and not even if you split up the cities one each, and you had more than 90 alliances created, you still would run into the same challenge, which is that not every alliance would be able to get a city.
That's why I offered to create a syndicate alliance where gonna be situated in about level 6 or level 5 cities.
I'm really confused there on that part. What do you mean by create a syndicate alliance where they can sit?
Syndicate alliance supposed to be syndicate alliance is picked from the stronger players from the smaller alliances. For example, from OS alliance, for example, from DF or LF alliances,
Uh-huh.
from different alliances, but stronger players all connected together into one alliance, and that's where you take up the big city.
Sorry,
Because
you said take up the big city. You mean capture the big city?
yeah, somewhere in the middle of the map, which gonna be a strategic point for all of us.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is that we're not really going to have any kind of, I guess, contention points, just because a lot of that is already going to be planned out ahead of time, as far as kind of who will be going for certain cities, and then which cities are going to be abandoned, and then other lower ranked alliances will be able to kind of pick up some of those abandoned cities or lower level ones, because again, the same situation is going to occur. You're not going to be able to give enough. There's not enough high level cities that are going to be able to be distributed between all of the alliances, or as many as they can. And that's just
I
because.
noticed that server 37 is open already, so we don't get any new players. Plus, in the future, many other players who gonna get burned or maybe offended by some way, they will leave the game or they will switch the server. So that's why at some point we'll have to merge into Syndicate Alliance.
Well, it doesn't mean that people have to merge into syndicate family alliances. People can merge into any of the top 20 alliances. I would say for now. Eventually, that'll transition and condense to like a top 16. But as I've said before, that's not going to happen for about a month or two, or sorry, a month and a half, 2 months away at the earliest, if not later. But people can merge into any.
I'm patient enough.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? People can merge into any of the top 20 alliances, or even if you have alliances that are outside of the top 20 and they just merge together and then they get placed into the top 20, right? So there's a couple ways to go about doing it. But again, at the same time, right, this is a natural progression of how the server is going to work. You're not going to be able to give enough resources to everyone. So the idea is that over time, players will either leave lower ranked alliances to join higher ones.
Yeah, I'm not saying straight away, but in the future.
Yeah. So again, right, they're either going to join higher ranked alliances or mergers will happen. Those are pretty much like the two most likely scenarios that will happen for lower ranked alliances.
So do we have already the plan to do that, or it's like still a long way ago?
I would say we're probably still a little ways away as far as maybe from some of the higher ranked alliances doing that. I think like the mid tier to lower mid tier alliances can probably start doing that, whenever they're able to. There's really nothing stopping them from, merging their top active players together. So they could do that whenever they wanted to.
Okay, no, I have a different question though.
Sure.
I've seen many small alliances trying to take the cities as well, but they are unsuccessful. What about helping them by trying to deal some damage to the cities? And to help the faction, your faction, with the blue ones, for example, dealing damage to the cities, and instead of that, letting them to do most damage for them to take up the cities, because they will need those gathering resources, getting a percentage, and as well as some bonuses from the territory.
They will.
That's how they can grow faster.
They will. But again, the same thing applies, is that, there's even if you just looked at the level 1 cities, right, you would still be limiting yourself just to like the top 20. If you gave up the level 1 cities, then you probably would expand to anywhere between the top 29 to the top 32. But you still would arguably run into the same challenge, which is that there just still is not going to be enough cities for everyone. Now, keep in mind that it doesn't mean that those alliances cannot capture those lower level cities. What it means is that they're just not strong enough to capture them yet. With the key word being yet. Meaning that they need to take time to power up.
Yeah, I know, that's why we can do it in a shortcut. We can help them deal some of the damage, and afterwards they can take up the city by themselves, dealing by most damage.
If I may.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, hang on, because I think I might already provide an answer that one of you guys might say. But if not, then one of you guys can chime in later. The thing is that we don't want to, we're not, let me just give a brief example, which is going to be very short-sighted to some, I'm sure, and I hope it doesn't come across the wrong way. But we don't want to be America policing and assisting the entire world, so to speak, on server 36. Not to say that that is a bad thing at all, depending on where your politics lie. That's not the point I'm trying to make. It's just that if we do it for, keep in mind, if we do that for one alliance, what is to stop other alliances from then coming to us and saying, hey, can you help us with this city? 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 There's nothing stopping that. And so
$5.
Yeah, and that's why it's good that we don't set that early precedent on the server that we're just going to go around and help everyone. Because for any alliance, if your alliance is active, it only is ever going to be a matter of time until you can capture a city. Regardless of how sooner or later you want to capture it, if your alliance is active and you're keeping player and you have good player activity, you will eventually be able to capture a city. You just have to wait to do it. Now, if alliances are just impatient, then that's on them, right? That's not something that we can control for how they emotionally feel about how
Sooner or later we'll have a faction wars. Yeah.
But the thing is, we're not going to have faction wars because the server, for the most part, is already united. You know, even if you look at, you know, our syndicate family alliances, right? We have 8 alliances in the top 12. You know, we have arguably, if you factor in all of our player capacity right now, we probably have, what is it, 70 times 8, right? We probably have close to 550 to 600 players that are a part of our family in the server. So if anything pops off, you know, we have, along with the majority of the top players in the server, we can go and address anything that happens. But at the same time, we're not here to be dictators and say, hey, we're just going to take all the cities for ourselves. That's one of the reasons why we want to share resources. We want to share cities with everyone that's in the server. We don't just want to hoard everything and keep it for ourselves. That's the point. It's to build a healthy server with everyone that is here, regardless if they're a syndicate family alliance or not a syndicate family alliance. The reason why our group exists is to act as a deterrent, to act as a force against any rogue players or any groups that have bad intentions. And thankfully, we've been doing a pretty good job of doing that while also allowing, I shouldn't say allowing, but also, you know, not capturing all the cities so that other alliances can capture those as well. So there's really never going to be any faction wars, right? Unless, you know, any amount of the top alliances just decide that they just want to go and attack people and cause havoc, then okay, sure, maybe that could happen. Of course, as always, hopefully it doesn't. And I don't think that we're trending in that direction either at the moment. So that's just why I say...
All right, I understand. Thank you very much.
Sure. No, of course. Sorry, let me see. My bad. Ragnar, you had something you asked, I think. You said... when the city per rank are distributed, the alliances should be chosen by their ideals, not by the top rank, honestly, because you might find an alliance of pricks who just want to cause chaos. No, I agree there, and I think that's actually an excellent point. I think that's one of the reasons why I've said on top of looking at the top 12, not deciding it based on the top 12, but looking at whether it's the top 9 or the top 12, and then beyond, to look at alliances that are showing consistent actions when it comes to them following along with what the project's goals are, right? They have good leadership, they have shown consistent trends, and that they really support the goals of the server and the project. I think those, as you said, Ragnar, are a lot more valuable than your rank on an alliance leaderboard. So yeah, I think that is something that, you know, we'll be factoring in as well, and probably factoring in the most outside of, you know, where an alliance falls on the leaderboard. So I think that's an excellent point to bring up. Sorry, Tickler said, except Shikamaru. Shikamaru is part of the Red Alliance, helped the Blue Alliance. Yeah, Load. So I did hear about that happening. That obviously should not have happened, but also keep in mind that was early on. That was like 2 days ago, I think, when that happened, from at least when I heard about it. And he didn't know to not help another alliance. Again, this is just me speaking on, you know, what I think is a good way, is a good philosophy to kind of take going forward. You know, and so not every alliance lead officer has probably had a chance to explain that or to send mails out to their groups specifically touching on that. Spicy Wizard too. All right, yeah. So it's like I said, it's not anyone's fault, right? We're not. It's not like it was a bad thing or anything. Again, I'm just speaking on what my beliefs are, because I think that can impact how how those alliances are then reached out to, right? Because if there were alliances like yourself, see, and that's why I say eyes are everywhere, right? Even though, so someone like Tickload, who's in an alliance that's lower ranked, noticed that another high-level alliance helped a lower-level alliance, right? That's why I say you have to really be careful with your actions that you do, because you don't know who's watching, right? In Lode's situation, he noticed that, right? Who's to say other lower-level alliances didn't notice that happen, and maybe they don't decide at a certain point in time to message. I've already gotten 5 messages from lower-ranked alliances asking, hey, can you help us take a city? Or, hey, can you help us capture a city? And who knows if those players saw, some of the BSS members go and help another lower-ranked alliance. Again, it's not a bad thing, but what I'm saying is that that's the precedent that can be set, and then you'll start having people always asking or always wanting help in certain situations. And it's not to say that there will never be a situation that comes up where we wouldn't help, but it's not something that I really believe should be happening this early. And I really think we should try and let things organically happen. Like, if you're strong enough to take a city, you are. And there's so many factors that even go into that, right? I mean, you could have an alliance going for a city, but how organized are they in taking that city, right? Are they picking a time that's favorable for when they have the most amount of players online? Are they setting up their positions around the city where they have the strongest troop powers closest to the city and then going outwards? Are they even strong enough to take the city? Right? Do they even have any players that have a true power over the garrison power? Right? These are all factors in as well that go into us not knowing why people are asking. Right? So, it's a lot. I feel like I should just teach educational seminars for Kingdom Builder games. Anyways, yeah, just some side thoughts there. I'm just probably ranting at this point. Let me see where I'm at time-wise. We're at an hour. Oh, sorry. Wow, we're at just exactly 2 hours. So, okay. I am going to start wrapping things up now. Yeah, no, of course, Lode. No, you're more than welcome. And like I said, I think the bigger picture there is that, even though our group is in my opinion really organized, it doesn't mean that all of those small, more finite details or fine details are all going to be hammered out. And this kind of falls into one of those areas where no one probably thought it was a bad thing, right, so to speak. And it's not. Again, outside of the things that I touched on. But like I said, I think those will be things that we'll talk about more and kind of work on. Okay, so security number and date of birth, yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, guys, so I think that's probably it from me today. As far as what we got so far, we still have 30 plus people. Here in the voice call, man, I really appreciate everyone tuning in. We even have, we've even had just kind of throughout the past 2 hours, some leads and officers from other alliances that are outside of our syndicate families, which is awesome to see the engagement that we have. I think we had around mid to high 30s for this week, which again has been our peak so far for the past 3 town halls that we've done. Again, I have been recording this, so I will work on uploading it today, and then I will post a VOD link probably here in the next maybe 2 hours. I think that's on average about how long it takes just to process, because the processing part is longer than the actual upload portion. And then, yeah, and like I said, then just kind of look out for some announcements a little bit later on some of those areas that we talked about. And again, we'll be looking to have another town hall probably next Tuesday. We might even shoot for an evening time as well. That might happen on, I don't know, maybe Friday. I know sometimes I like to try and work in evening town halls just because I know it provides a different time zone for other players that are able to kind of partake in them. But if we do decide to do that, we'll definitely make an announcement. The last thing I would say is just friendly reminder, if you're in S36 and you don't have access yet to the S36 section of the Discord, which is where we have kind of our server chat, and we have other important announcements and details that are listed there, and make sure you go to the React for Roles channel and select the S36 emoji, which is Mr. Pepe, and then make sure you post your screenshot in the verification channel, so that way we can get you access to that side. And I guess with that being said, that's it for me. Again, I appreciate everyone who made time to join, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. You're all champs in my book, and especially for the people that were here but had to go earlier. And hopefully we can keep building off the numbers that we have for these weekly meetings. But please feel free to stick around if you'd like and talk amongst yourselves or crap about me after I leave. You're more than welcome to. You do not necessarily have to leave on my accord. I do just have to bounce so I can get a couple things taken care of and then come back a little later. But guys, that's it for me. I will follow up with everyone a little bit later. If not, see you guys at the next meeting. Take care.
Of course, I joined like 30 seconds ago.
Bowser. Later. That's so funny. Bowser's impeccable timing. Yeah, man. Gosh, let me stop this.